All right, guys, thank you for joining me again. So tonight, live stream is probably going to be about half hour. We're not going to beat a dead horse or keep talking about the same shit over and over again. But tonight we're going to talk about two important things: the world they want to create, right, or the world they want, and we're going to talk about Bob Saget's autopsy report. Now, Bob Saget's autopsy report we're going to talk about a little later, but I'm mentioning it because I think it's weird. His autopsy report reads more like a murder than it does, somebody who just died in their sleep. But anyway, with that being said, how do I sound and how does it look? Super Chad, the last stream never played. Well, I was on. I was on with no problems. Mary Joy, yeah, I would say communism of some sorts is a chomo. Brian Keith. So we're gonna talk about that in a little bit as far as what killed him and what didn't. But listen, guys. So the world they want. Now you heard me talking about. Thank you, guys. You heard me talking about the Great Reset. That is part of the world they want, right? They want this perfect utopia that doesn't exist. They want people to, you know, make sure that they're healthy by eating a certain amount of meat. They want to control how much of that we eat. They want us to be vaccinated against everything, not just what's going on now, but everything. And this is part of the Great Reset. This is the world they want to build. Now, they want to control as much as possible, though, right? So again, the meat thing is a big issue because they want us to have a certain amount of meat per week. This is according to them. So they are telling us exactly how we're going to eat now and what we're going to put in our bodies. And if we don't, we're not going to be a part of their society. Well, listen, I could sit out on that society. I can care less. That's me. But I know a lot of you guys, might not want to sit on that society. Rice. Thank you, Janine, for bringing that up. And be fake happy, right? This fake woke bullshit going on where people are being nice to one another and smiling at each other and being fake happy, right? These fake motherfuckers running around here talking about how great the world is going to be once we all submit to the Great Reset and their bullshit. But that's what it is, guys. Submitting. That's all they want. And they're probably going to get it from a lot of people. I mean, they're not going to get it from us. They're going to get it from a lot of people. Guys, so they want us to wear masks. They want different vaccines, if not all, in our bodies. They want people to be divided. They want families to be at odds with one another. They want friendships to break apart. They want people to lose their jobs. They want us to be completely dependent on their system. They want us to stop eating meat. They want us to eat that fake meat, that impossible meat, or whatever bullshit's gonna come out. Remember that the human meat shit that they wanted to do? They wanted you to grow your own meat using your own DNA, sort of like cannibalism, right? They want you to be scared with everything that's going on. They want us to be scared at every possible disease or every new variant coming out. They keep reporting all of these variants, and some of them are not even going to affect us, right? Some of these things are just there. Like the cryptic variant, for example, that's in rats. That's not going to fucking jump to us. But why report it? Because they want us to be scared. They got the new strain of HIV out there. Why report it if it's not, taking hold yet? Well, because they want to scare people into it. And they want us to be scared over everything. Right, plant-based meat is the worst. And yeah, Sean Romero, exactly. I haven't tasted it yet. I don't have any need to taste it. People are like, oh, you should try it. You might like it. Fuck that. What do I look like, Mikey? This isn't fucking life cereal. I don't need to have that shit. I don't need to try it. I know I'm not gonna like it, right? So they can keep that shit over there. Like I said, I would probably become a vegan before I eat fucking that fake meat bullshit. Hands down. I would absolutely become a vegan. So Angelo said Nevada dropped mask mandates for everyone, regardless of vax stats. Okay, that's cool. So, guys, this is the world they want. They want us to submit, and wearing a mask is submitting. Wearing something over your face that doesn't work is submitting. Putting something into your body that doesn't work is submitting. Going around and backpedaling or being afraid to talk and speak your mind is submitting. Every time they go after these celebrities now for saying some shit they said 10 years ago, I'm like, but he said that 10 years ago. But they go after these celebrities hard. Look what they did to Joe Rogan. They went all in on Joe Rogan. I mean, they went after him because he had guests on his TV, on his podcast that spoke against the narrative. And they didn't like that. So all of a sudden, him saying nigger was a fucking big to do issue. Right? And thank you, Sarah Johnson. Like she says, do your part, do not comply. Absolutely, guys. You complying to whatever they're fucking throwing at us, you're part of the problem. Yes, finger. Yeah, finger. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. You wear a mask, you identify as a slave. Now, unfortunately, for that slave comment, I have to wear a mask on a plane, right? And I already know I'm going to be aggravated. I'm trying my best to calm down because every time I think about the plane ride, I get aggravated. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But I tell people all the time, these masks don't work. You know, these things have never worked. And yet they want us to put this on our face so that we could be, you know, so we could look stupid. Rather, sorry, we could look stupid. Yes, David Lee, I'm a slave. So they want us to look stupid. They want us to go along with the program. Now, it worked in China. They go along with the program like you wouldn't believe. I mean, that whole social credit scoring system they have there, that's how they got those people to submit by doing that. People people over there were easily controlled uh, with that credit scoring system. Sorry, right? The social credit scoring system easily controlled. Well, if you misbehave, we're going to drop your credit scores, and then you can't go see a movie. You can't leave the country. You can't go to this diner, this restaurant. You have to play by our rules. Now, they're going to implement something like that here in the United States. They actually have something like that here in the United States now. They're implementing little things at a time, guys. They're looking to add your social media accounts to your credit score system. That's gonna once they do that, then it becomes a social credit scoring system. It hasn't been done yet, but they've been talking about adding that in there. So if you behave badly, or the IA can pick up that you're behaving badly, they can lower your credit score. Now, the credit scoring system here in the United States is only going to work one way: if it affects your food. If you can't go to the supermarket and go shopping, or you can't buy certain things like meat. Oh, well, you've been behaving badly, Mr. Charles. So I think you can't get your 2 pounds of meat this week. We're only going to give you one. If you behave yourself next week, we might give you 2 to 3. And this is how they're going to control us. They're going to control us through food. That's here in the United States. Over there, they're controlling them with movies, restaurants, outings, and things like that. Even jobs in China. If you have a shitty social credit score system, you can't get the job you want. If you're going for a higher up job, let's say, and your social credit score system is low, well, guess what? They're not going to fucking hire you, right? So they're going to do something similar to that to us here. Yes, Escape from Babylon. Yeah, you'll only be able to get spam if you behave badly. That's the only meat they're gonna give you. Oh, you want ribeye? Well, you were acting like a dick last week, so guess what you're gonna get? Spam, right? So they're probably gonna be doing shit like that. That is a punishable meat right there. I would absolutely not fucking eat that crap. I have shit all over the place because I'm gonna try to pack tonight, not tonight, tomorrow. I gotta pack tomorrow. So after I'm done with my uh, Wednesday midweek morning report, I pack everything up. Look, guys, this is the world they want. They want it for us. They want us to submit, and we cannot submit. Now I know they know that there are going to be a lot of Americans that fight. The Chinese didn't. The Chinese rolled over pretty goddamn fast, actually, if you ask me. When you look at the inception of social credit scoring system, you look at when it started, you look at how easily they rolled over. You were like, holy shit. Yes, Mark Olson. It's exactly why they want to eliminate real money and start rolling into this crypto shit, right? Because real money With cryptocurrency, they can absolutely control it. Now, a lot of cryptocurrency people are like, well, the government's not going to get involved. They can't get involved. Cryptocurrency fans are naive. Now, I'm not a big fan of cryptocurrency, but I do buy it. Um, but I'm also not naive. I also know that that's total control right there. Once the government figures out how to get their hands in on cryptocurrency, it's over. They're going to dole out whatever they think you earn for that week because you were acting badly on social media. Well, why were you chewing on a fucking goldfish, Mr. Charles? We're going to give you half of what you got last week, cryptocurrency, whatever that might be, half of what you got last week because you were eating a goldfish. That's stupid. You should act like a normal person. And then this is how they're going to get us. So, the ploys that they're running right now, guys, on society is getting people to be divisive. Once you get everyone to be divisive, then you can control them easier. I said that before, I'm going to say it again. You can get people controlled easier because if you can absolutely control their mindset by putting certain things on TV and then people reacting to it like a fucking moron, well, then you're going to get people to do the same shit. You're going to get people to react the same way once you get this cryptocurrency shit rolling. The social credit scoring system rolling. You're going to get people to do the same thing easier. But with us, it's going to be a fight because there are a lot of us who don't subscribe to this shit, and there are going to be a lot of us who do subscribe to it. But for those of us that don't, we're going to be their nightmares, if you will. That's a good idea. Eating a carrot on a plane and slowly. Let's go Liberty. Yeah, that's a good idea. Get a bag of carrots and eat it slowly on a plane. Or get a bag of fries and eat it slowly on a plane. That is not a bad idea. I'm actually going to try it. Or get like burgers and shit and then have like 3 burgers and then eat each one like super slow. And when she goes, "Can you put your mask on?" I'm still eating. That's a good idea. But, guys, again, what are we going to do? Now, they're implementing these things slowly so that people get used to it, right? The frog in a pot theory or syndrome, if you will, sorry. They're going to start rolling these things out slowly so they get people used to it. And then before you know it, 10 years from now, we have a social credit scoring system here in in the United States. That's going to be the bigger issue. And being that we're recognizing it now, I don't know why more people are not fighting against it. But we can only do so much. So, moving right along, guys, we're going to move on to Bob Saget's autopsy report. Now, for those of you that might not know listen, if you don't know who Bob Saget is, you're living under a rock. But for those of you that don't know, Bob Saget was a comedian, right? And he was on the show Full House. That's what he's best known for, is Danny Tanner, right? And I liked Full House. A lot of us grew up with Full House. And then they came out with Fuller House on Netflix. I think they released it for 3 seasons or some shit like that. So anyway, Bob Saget died, a month ago. He was 65 years old. He was found on a bed in a hotel in Orlando after doing a comedy gig. Stand-up gig, sorry. And according to his daughter, he felt great. He said he did good. He can't wait to do more of these. So they go up to his room, noticing that he didn't come to check out. They go up to his room, and they find him laying on the bed. The initial report, when they found him laying on the bed, was there was no trauma. So they looked at his body on the bed, looked him up and down, and said, all right, there's no trauma to the body. A month later, the autopsy report reads as if he got the shit kicked out of him. With that, guys, there's an issue there. There's an issue if they said that there was no trauma, and then when you read the autopsy report, he had nothing but trauma. And that's the crazy thing. Yeah, Mark Olson, right? The fucking Olsen twins probably got back at him. Now, Heather, Jesus Girl. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit, so don't jump the gun just yet. All right. So, guys, Saget was discovered in the supine position, which is facing upwards, right, guys? So that's laying on his back, chest up in the air, on his bed. His left arm was across his chest, his right arm was to the side. No signs of trauma were seen. Now, again, according to the report, the trauma that was in the autopsy report, you would have seen with your own eyes, him laying on the bed, right? I think, and this is where it comes in. This is where it comes into play. Who was it? Jesus Girl or whatever her name was. This is where it comes into play. I think the vaccine played a role, right? The shot played a role. Sorry, the arm ticket. I think it played a role, but I think they were so fast to not even rush. Sorry, let me not say that they rushed the autopsy report. They were trying to mitigate the conspiracy theory that the arm ticket killed him. So to get us away from that, they came out with this report that might have overdone it. So I think they overdid the reporting of his death. So now the autopsy report was released alongside with Stephanie's statement said that Saget had posterior, back of the head, scalp abrasion. He had subling, sorry, can never say that word right, hemorrhage, which is blood forming between the scalp and the skull. That's also a hematoma. He had discoloration of the eyelids, black and blue, due to fractures in the subdural. Sorry, due to fractures. He had subdural hematoma, which is built up of blood on the surface of the brain. So he also had blood between the scalp and his skull. He also had blood building up between the surface of his brain and the skull. He also had bleeding in the space surrounding the brain. This guy is suggesting that the guy had his ass handed to him with a pipe baseball bat of some kind. Or he fell 20 to 30 feet, which a neurosurgeon had said. So, reading this, guys, I forgot to mention, let me walk it back a little bit. The reason why I read this is that on Epoch Times, doctors took issue with this autopsy report. Mark Olson, yes, he had the raccoon eyes. He had black eyes, right? So, according to the autopsy report itself, the black eyes came from, let me see if I can find it, lineal fracture of the base of his skull involving the right occipital bone and the right temporal bone being fractured, right? So that means here and here were fractured. He had black eyes in both his eyes, and he had blood pooling on his brain and between his scalp and the scalp and the skull. So he had blood between, and that's a thin space. So guys, looking at someone laying on the bed and sitting there going, and the sheriff who walked in and said, and the medical examiner who walked in and saw him on the bed said there was no trauma. But now you mean to tell me, unless he was laying there with his fucking sunglasses on, which I doubt, if he was laying there with his sunglasses on, then he could go, oh, there was no trauma. But according to this, there was absolute trauma on his body. And it was evident that there was trauma to his body. Or his head, rather, sorry. So, again, John Prepper, I've seen people get the shit kicked out of them. And I've seen people get hematomas and swellings without the skin breaking. Right? And a subdural bleed is slow. Right. So Mark Olson, right, a subdural bleed is slow. So again, if he did, let's just say he was by himself in his room and he's walking around and he felt woozy because of the arm ticket and he fell over and he hit his head on the back of his head and then he got up because he hit his head so hard, he got up and then he fell over and hit the right side of his head. Jeff, thank you for the donation. Then he hit the right side of his head, right? So he hits the right side of his head and then he gets up and lays down. That could happen. There is a small, I have to be responsible when saying this, there's a small window of him being confused from falling down twice or three times and then laying down in bed. There is that. And I've seen it before. And not seen it before. I've heard a person do this before when I was in my EMS days. So that's a small window, guys. T-Rex, keep up. We're talking about the autopsy report for Bob Saget. Yes, that's the thing, guys. This sounds way too suspicious. This is way too um, doesn't make sense. And now if you have doctors, right? So you have a doctor, Dr. Gavin Britz. He is the chair. He is a neurosurgeon in Houston Methodist Hospital. He said that these are significant trauma findings. That somebody with these kind of injuries would have sustained injuries from a baseball bat or fell 20 to 30 feet. So that's one doctor. Multiple doctors took issues with this report. This report to them guys was weird. It just didn't make sense. Yeah, listen, if he was talking out against the shot, yeah, Hillary would have got him. But in this case, we don't know. Did he owe somebody money? Did somebody work him over to a baseball? But again, even if he was worked over with a baseball bat, even if he fell multiple times, why would the ME in the initial report of finding him on the bed, and why would the sheriff finding him on the bed and both looking at him on the bed say there was no trauma? When this kind of damage is absolute trauma. This is a swollen head, guys. That means his head would have been swollen. His eyes are already, they according to the report, he had black eyes. So they mean to tell me they missed the black eyes and the swollen head and said, oh, there's no trauma there. He's sleeping. This is just odd, guys. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's odd. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. Someone left-handed. Yeah, you're right. Hudson Valley. Someone left-handed. If in case it was. Now I'm hoping his wife has an investigator. Yes, Lady Easton. I was gonna say that they need to hire a private investigator because this doesn't sound right at all. Right? I mean, who the hell knows what actually happened? I mean, did he have a hooker in the room and pissed the hooker off, and then the hooker hit him in the face with a pipe? Could be. Did he actually fall, trip over something, hit the back of his head, got up so confused, got up, stood up, and hit the wall again? But then there would have been marks on the wall, right? There would have been a scuff mark, skin marks on the wall if he did hit it. So I don't know, man. You know, it's just weird. That's all it is. Hudson Valley. I don't know if his wife's left-handed. No, it was David Kohler. Yeah, imagine you took my spot in Full House. I was supposed to be Danny Tanner. Who knows? Who knows what it is? But guys, listen. Nonetheless, it's just up there. Yeah, Tupac's still alive. Who else? There was something about Tupac being alive. I read it early. I saw it the other day. They were talking about how people still think he's alive. I'm like, really? This is just as bad as people thinking Elvis is still alive. Like another friend. Again, this reads as someone else took him out, and his family has to absolutely fucking wonder what the fuck is this. Like the media's not questioning this, but doctors are. Oh, sorry, I was just reading a message. Another Hollywood mystery. Yeah, right. Who was the Black Dahlia? What was that case about? That was a movie, but what was that case about? Right? It was a killing of some fucking Hollywood chick, and then the guy from Superman was involved in that killing, right? And that was a murder mystery for the ages. Now this one seems to be the new one. Could have been. That's good. Anna Nicole Smith. No, it wasn't Anna Nicole Smith. It was back in the 40s, I think, or 50s. It was a big Hollywood murder. They did a movie on it called Black Dahlia, which was fucking boring as shit. Elizabeth Short, was that her name? Probably. I don't know. I don't know the lady's name. Michael Jackson's alive as well. Listen, they're also maybe Bob Saget's alive with him. Elizabeth Short. So Alexa, the gamer, said Elizabeth Short. All right, right. She was a Hollywood. Black Dahlia was dismembered. Right. And what you call it? Steve Reeves, right? Yes, thank you. The Superman that was involved, the first Superman that we ever knew. Right, and then he was involved in that, but they never fucking figured out who did it. Is it George Reeves. Sorry, Steve Reeves. I should have known better. Yes, George Reeves, the first Superman. Natalie Wood? No, not Natalie Wood. But again, if you watch the movie, oh my god, that was a fucking horrendous movie. It was so slow. I mean, I get it was a murder mystery, but they were really dragging the shit out. Kathy Avocito says, weren't her insides cut out? I said, I guess. I don't know much about it other than like when I saw the movie, all I can remember the movie was horrible. That was it. I can't remember much about it, but I'm probably going to look into the case now. Um, Probably going to look into the case now because it was very interesting. You know, a lot of the things I found out, rumors of it being a serial killer. Yes, I remember that, Wolf Spain. Remember them saying that it could have been a serial killer because there was a prostitute that was killed the same way. Not Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves was the Superman we grew up with. Natalie Wood was there. Natalie Wood does sound familiar, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't recall that one either. She was cut in half at the waist. Yes, I remember that. Now I remember that one. Okay, Black Dahlia being cut up, and I remember that was a gruesome one. Jackie goes, "Oh, Joan Rivers' death." Yeah, we were talking about that today on a chat about Joan Rivers. Sarah Johnson, you need an angry murder mystery channel. That'd be something. We're gonna figure this one out, guys. Come hell or high water. Natalie Wood's drowned. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, now I remember Natalie was right. But Robert Wagner, Alex the Gamer. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for jogging my memory. I remember that one now. Yes. Okay. Yes, Sammy Sam. Multiple women were killed. Right. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of them were prostitutes. That's why they were linking it to a serial killer. But I don't know how George Reeves fell into that. Kung Fu guy hung himself. Yeah. Christopher Reeves? I thought it was Christopher Reeves, not Christopher Reeves. Let's see. Still, interestingly enough, both Supermans had the same last name. Thought that as or similar last name. Sorry. Bop, bop, bop. Sorry. There's Christopher Reeve, not Reeves. Thank you for that. I had to look it up. He died in 2004. Charlie Chapman case. There were a lot of interesting cases back then. Mandela effect. Yes, Berto. That does make sense. Because I remember seeing Reeves on it, but it's Reeve. Christopher Reeve. He was 52 when he passed away. That sucks. But anyway, guys. Uh, the Bob Saget thing should definitely have pique people's interest for sure. I mean, because it should be another mystery. Again, the way it reads, it was reading like a murder mystery. So we shall see. If anything comes of this, if the wife hires a private investigator, I hope she does. But because I like to see where this would go. All right, guys. So anyway, other than that, we're going to end it now. We are at the half-hour mark. If you guys don't mind following me tomorrow morning on the Wednesday morning midweek reports. Tomorrow morning, we are going to talk about, just real quick, a New York City stabbing, celebrities not wearing a mask at the Super Bowl, hypocrisy, and we're going to talk about the give, send, go mess that interestingly happens with the Emergency Act that Justin Trudeau invoked. So I think there's a definite connection with both of those. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and we're going to talk about a couple other more interesting things that happen here in the city and around the United States. So other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for helping me jog my memory with these mystery murder cases. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching.